И всем привет! С вами Эппл Норрис, и мы начинаем наше прохождение The Stanley Parable. Одно из лучших игр в своем жанре. Да. Так. Кто в чате? Пока никого в чате. И я запускаю игру. Пока что ждем, пока... Да. Эта игра была создана разработчиками из Galactic Cafe. Галактического кафе. Да, YouTube не сразу выводит в эфир. Увы. Вы можете увидеть то, что наша игра уже показывается на этом мониторе. Да, такое бывает. Вы играете в Stanley Parable. Что ж, начнем игру. Чат, готовьтесь. Первый заход за вами. Говорите, что нужно делать. Конец ни разу не конец. Конец — это загрузка. Долгая загрузка. Да, здесь нужно будет принимать выборы, и чат будет говорить, что делать, даже если там будет всего лишь один человек. Это очень долгая загрузка, я надеюсь, что игра не сломается. Оп, продолжается загрузка. Мне определенно нужно было дефрагментировать диск днем. Да какая непосильная ноша. Тут выборы будут довольно легкие. Я буду даже озвучивать их. Игра не такая уж и маленькая. Да. Она довольно разветвленная. Что ж, только мы в этом стриме возвращаем понятие «давайте» в словосочетание «давайте поиграем». Только мы ждем загрузку. Да. Нажмите,
This is
чтобы
the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Ну что ж.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Так, чат. Первый вопрос. Мы выходим в коридор? Мы можем не выходить. Мы можем остаться здесь. А еще я сейчас быстренько зайду в настройки. Да, выходим. Хорошо. И повышу чувствительность мыши, потому что она просто ужасная сейчас была. Ой, нет, блин. Она все еще ужасная. Вот столько примерно будет нормально, я надеюсь. Хорошо, выходим.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Что ж, мы пока здесь осмотримся.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Так, походу движок с Турса немного ломается. Ну, это довольно старый движок. Мы можем выключать мониторы. Конечно, тут есть прохождение, в котором нужно выключить все мониторы в определенной последовательности, но это не сейчас. Username Access. Доступ. Я ненавижу понедельники. А кто их любит? Что там Злата делает? Окей, выбор. Идем влево или вправо? Или назад?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Куда идем? Влево или вправо? Вправо. Хорошо.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Да, я так и хотел. Кстати, вопрос. Почему мы не работник 417? Это мой номер, 417. Почему я 427? О боже.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Мы можем здесь остаться и пойти дальше. Или пойти дальше, да.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Первая дверь слева или идем дальше? Чат? Да, тут немного иногда плотно держатся выборы. Дальше, дальше, дальше. Где мы оказались?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ну, не 5 лет назад, а несколько лет назад. Ну ладно. Итак, это лифт. Тут говорится, что опасно. Не спрыгивайте с лифта, когда он двигается. Это может повлечь за собой смерть. Пенальти за то, что вы неправильно используете лифт, $1000. Пенальти за то, что вы спрыгнули с лифта, $5000. Окей. У нас есть выбор. Мы можем поехать по лифту дальше, до конца. Мы можем спрыгнуть с лифта вниз на эту дорожку. Или спрыгнуть с лифта сразу вниз и разбиться. Выбирайте. Поехать дальше до конца или до дорожки. До конца? Хорошо.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Ради кого? Ее.
This is it, Stanley.
Ладно.
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Кто ждала? Рассказчик. Ну, значит, у нас нет выбора. Итак, мы можем ответить на телефон или отключить его.
To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Что делаем? Не отвечать? Ладно, тоже вариант. Я не помню, можно ли ждать и не отвечать, или нужно обязательно отключить? По-моему, нужно обязательно отключить. Да. Извини, рассказчики, но нет.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one.
Неправильно понял.
Wait. Oh goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Да.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Yep.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Окей, практика. Теперь нам дают практику. Что же мы будем делать на этой практике? Ну, игра. По-моему, она загружается.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Пожалуй, лучше...
Welcome back.
Боже.
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Туда пройти. Все делать наоборот. Хорошо. Но если будет несколько вариантов, я скажу, что делать. Нам даже спрыгнуть не дадут. Ах ты ж сволочь. Ну ладно. У нас пока нету выбора. Кажется.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Хорошо. Пока что мы идем дальше. Ну, рассказчик, чем удивишь? Этим? Nope. Нам не дали поехать назад. Ну ладно. Жаль. Ты еще двери за нами закрываешь. Ладно. Мы идем вперед. Все как хочет рассказчик. Пока что.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Мы должны пойти влево, да?
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
А если я стану так, то я пойду в дверь слева. Я пойду в дверь слева.
No! Why did you do that?
Oh.
Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Я пойду в дверь слева. Да, по-моему, эта игра немного багает уже. А вы так не считаете? Какой это номер? 368? Ладно, ладно, мы пойдем влево.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work.
Oh, я не
Why?
знаю, но
For
еще
what?
можно посидеть.
What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down.
Не надо, не выключай игру, чувак.
I have to.
Она довольно интересная стала. Чувак. Ну блин. Рассказчик. Что-то пошло не так.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish.
Да.
With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Дверь слева? Ну, это дверь слева для меня, да. Спасибо.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Oh.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Да, я вхожу в дверь, которая слева от меня. Да.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Окей.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing
responsibly and
always putting the story
first.
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nope.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would.
Да, видимо, нами позволят. Ну ладно. Ладно, рассказчик, мы пойдем по твоему пути.
Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Хорошо, мы вошли в дверь слева. Все эти поторможения, когда игра подвисает, это на самом деле проблема движка. Он довольно старый и не понимает, что делать с этой видеокартой. Так что, увы. А вот и мы.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ну, а мы можем вернуться? Нет, мы не можем вернуться. Эй, здесь метлы. Ладно, нам туда нельзя. Нельзя.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ты нам даже вниз не дашь пройти, да? Хорошо. Эта дверь закрыта. Эта дверь тоже закрыта. Ну ничего, так здесь так обстановочка, да? Сволочь. Я могу нажать на эти кнопки? Я же Стенли, я должен нажимать на кнопки. Ладно, нам не дают никуда позвонить. Ладно.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Клавиатура. Ладно, она не работает.
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Расскажи, ты понимаешь, что я хочу посмотреть на картины? Это же мой выбор. Я могу посмотреть на картины, да?
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Да, очень важный шаг. Так почему бы ты сам его не сделаешь?
Fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do.
Нет,
I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Ну, блин.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door.
Привет, Стенли. Привет. Стенли.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me?
Ой, Стэнли.
Can you hear me?
Ну, ты когда-нибудь разберешься с этим.
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay.
Хорошо.
It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Да, Стэнли. Выбирай. А мы загружаемся. Окей, наш ход. Что же мы делаем?
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Так, я хочу кое-что сделать. Бум. Этот еще нет. Ага, awaiting input. Подожди, я сейчас приду в компьютер. Здесь никто не включился.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ладно. Ты ждешь того, чтобы я что-то нажал. Этот компьютер заработал. Угу. Что еще? Эти компьютеры не работают, а к себе навернуться не дают. Ладно, надеемся, что компьютеры дальше будут работать. Интересно.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ладно, я пойду в дверь слева пока что. А, я неправильно выбрал для этой концовки. Ну ладно, ну ладно.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ну ладно, у меня есть другие варианты. Например, зайти в эту комнату и застрять здесь. Не. Скучный вариант, я пойду вниз.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ну, как сказать, В каком-то смысле идти вниз это то же самое, что идти наверх, только вместо подъема мы опускаемся.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ну, немного не получилось, Стэнли.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Nope.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
А полицию вызвать? Ну, черт подери. Ладно, передаю ход. Чат. Я могу снова попробовать, кстати, с компьютерами кое-что провернуть. Пойду попробую.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
По-моему, мне нельзя выключать компьютеры. Я неправильно сделал. Да. А, нет. А, можно остаться в комнате отдыха, да. Да, вот смотрите. 5 прохождений, и у нас откроется концовка с компьютером. Да, значит, я все правильно сделал, надо просто их
No matter how hard
по-другому
Stanley
выключать.
looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ладно, идем в комнату отдыха.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous
Так, что у нас
room.
здесь продается?
Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Ау, не работает.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Да, стоило того. Мы подождем.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Кофе.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
И какое же сообщение? Игра? Топливо. И еще такое вот пятно от кофе под чашкой. Но на самом деле мы не можем здесь оставаться, так что впереди у нас путь вперед. Что будем делать? Мы спрыгнем с лифта на дорожку. Мы не умрем, если что. Но там, как я помню, будет довольно интересная концовка. Чат. Хорошо.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
А тебе?
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Ладно, дадим ему шанс. 2Б1. 2Б3.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Куда пойдем? Ладно, мы не даем ему шанс. Значит, мы идем в синюю дверь, да? Хорошо.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Это красная дверь. Синий — это
I
новый
still don't
красный.
think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ты меня не обманешь. Есть синяя
All
дверь.
right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Давай.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Куда пойдем? Третий выбор? Он довольно интересный, наверное. Давай, оранжевая.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
От 1 до 5. 4. Хорошо.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Stanley Parable. Worldwide Leaderboard. Вау. Кстати, оно действительно обновляется в реальном времени, вот это вот. Но, правда, не награды. Ладно, я шучу, на самом деле. Ничто не обновляется. Снова оранжевый, да? Вау. Как мы далеко внизу.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
От 1 до 5. 2.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game
да,
I've been working on,
давай.
and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Нет. Я не против.
Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Серьезно, это 4 часа можно нажимать эту кнопку. Не, пусть горит. Не. 4 часа того не стоит.
Heartless bastard. Did you do
Ты
it because
тоже.
you hate babies or purely to spite me?
4 часа, чувак.
I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the
Я
experience
просто
for me.
забыл.
I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey,
Ваша игра
since
была
my
очень
game was
даже
so
интересной,
awful,
да.
why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain?
Давай,
Let's
а почему
see.
нет?
What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Вот сейчас будет, кстати, довольно интересный момент. Очень интересный. Загрузка. Просто загрузка. Да, просто загрузка. О! На момент она даже достигла 100%. О, найс!
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Да,
At last,
да,
the
да,
one thing you've
больше,
always
да.
desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
Ну, целого
Well,
мира
I'll say
будет
this.
мало.
I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes,
Найс.
it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Чувак, ты сделал домик из
But
грязи.
you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't
Да,
it
он...
grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better
Да.
if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
Вот это хорошая
Diamond
идея.
everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Давай. Будем копать алмазы. Главное, не копать их
My,
ночью.
it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Нет, у меня нету ничего. У тебя есть свечи? Или кирка? Может быть, мы могли бы взять немного угля и...
No. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Да, темновато. Хорошо. Переходим в другую игру. Но другая игра более веселая, я так думаю, да. А жаль, в Майнкрафте можно было бы хорошо повеселиться. Рассказчик, ты не знаешь, что ты теряешь. А вот это уже знакомо.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it.
Мне тоже.
Trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Но я могу просто выйти, да? О, точно такая же недоработка, как в первом портале, да? Окей. У нас здесь есть кнопка. Кнопка!
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Да, критическое мышление. Это то, что мы умеем.
Genius.
Да. Хотя... Не успел. Ага. Я смогу это закинуть так, чтобы оно... Нет. Тут физика немного по-другому работает. Ладно. Ну что ж, пройдем дальше.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
Yep. Спускаемся. Воу! Привет, рассказчик. Мы снова у тебя в игре. Только, кажется, она немного у тебя незаконченная, нет? О боже. Рассказчик. Угу. Ну, у нас есть только один выход. Привет. Где? Как-то тут пусто. Да. Что ж, вернемся к началу игры. О, свет! Наконец. Хоть что-то будет видно. Гораздо лучше. Кнопки. Мы будем нажимать кнопки. Какой-то номер. Да, это 427. Хорошо. Как-то тут никак. Ладно, выйдем.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion, That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ну, мы тоже можем подождать, но... Пожалуйста, можешь бы ты немного поторопиться с этим концом? Да, но конец это не конец. Конец это загрузка. Загрузка игры заново. Потому что истинной концовки здесь нет. Ну, кроме той, которая нам запланирована по сюжету. Окей, чат. Что мы будем делать дальше? Я возьму на себя 5-й проход, если что. Потому что 5-й проход, как мне кажется, будет довольно интересным. Поэтому отдаю ход чату. Главное, чтобы выйти, и мы должны нажать на компьютер.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Компьютер.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ладно, походу компьютер немного недоступен на этом прохождении. Ну ладно, тогда продолжу. Ладно, будем считать, что это мой ход. Хорошо.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door.
Ну, пойдем по прохождению самой игры. Почему нет?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Туалет. Нам туда нельзя. Жаль, жаль, жаль. Ага! Так и знал. И у нас еще 2 прохождения. Однако. Ну ладно.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
И что же мы здесь найдем? Дорогу вниз. Куда нас приведет она? К загрузке. Welp.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ну, мы подходим.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Куда нам пойти? К выходу или сюда? Ладно, на самом деле нет. Не надо делать выбор. Пойдем к выходу. Вот сюда.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Я просто хочу показать, как наш рассказчик видит эту игру. Камеры.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Да, свобода ничего не значит в этой огромной корпорации.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. As the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ну что ж, ломаем эту корпорацию. Огромная машина, которая управляет разумом людей. Отключаем ей энергию. А еще можно было захватить и разум всех людей на свете. Ну?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Выход.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
И получилась ачивка, мы прошли игру. Так. Сделать так, чтобы после комнаты босса мы вышли влево или куда вниз спустились, я не знаю куда. Еще можно застрять там со швабрами. Но это не самая лучшая концовка. А на лестнице вниз? Но там мы уже видели концовку же. Хорошо. Главное найти компьютер.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Хорошо, тогда уходим. Вниз? Ну, влево, да, не вниз, влево. Хорошо.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Кстати, через эту дверь мы выйдем, если туда пойдем вправо и потом пойдем влево.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Ну ладно.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Это то, что слишком торопились. Да. На самом деле рассказчик это очень изобретательный мастер подземелья. Наверное, он...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Наверное, он был бы хорошим все-таки водятлом во всяких RPG.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ну не надо.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Вряд ли это выход, понимаешь? Оу. Это газовая комната, да? Нет. Ну, мы загружаемся. Ну...
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Плохая концовка. Ну что ж.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Спасибо, рассказчица. Избежали смерти.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Это даже очень даже интересная концовка, я скажу. Титры. HD ремикс. Ну, кстати, игра скоро получит как продолжение, так и перезапуск, можно сказать. Надо будет его пройти когда-нибудь. Потому что он, кажется, будет бесплатным для тех, кто купил игру. Да. Ха. Это письма рассказчику. Кстати, можно поиграть еще в оригинал. В оригинале меньше концовок, и фактически мы уже их все показали. Но оригинал тоже по-своему хорош. Вот этой части игры в игре уже не было. Здесь показываются как концепты, так и те уровни, которые вошли в игру. А это разные планировки офиса. Ну что ж, думаю, мы сейчас приступим к самой интересной концовке, как мне кажется.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Но у нас не получится, вы хотите сказать, да?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Увы. Но если нажать выход, то фактически будет то же самое, мы просто начнем сначала, но мы потеряем весь прогресс в тех компьютерах. Да, эти компьютеры нужно проходить за одно прохождение. Увы. Рассказчица. Рассказчик. Может, стартуйте загрузку? Нет? А, они добавили эту кнопку. Удобно. Я когда раньше играл, этой кнопки не было. Она, видимо, добавлена в одном из последних патчей. Там нужно было либо выйти из игры, либо выйти в главное меню. И фактически из этого терялся прогресс с компьютерами. Ну ладно. Не знал, что они добавили кнопку, которая позволяет начать игру заново. О! Кнопка! Ха-ха! Хотя мы могли выйти и увидеть кое-что другое. Рай Стенли! Здесь есть кнопки! На них можно нажимать! На самом деле мы можем здесь просто стоять и ничего не делать, но... почему бы не нажимать кнопки? Да, кнопки зажигаются заново. И голоса говорят: кнопки, кнопки, кнопки. Здесь сотни кнопок. У меня уже в глазах немного рябит. Что с этой концовкой дальше делать? Я не помню. Так. Концовка. Где здесь кнопки? Ага. Так. Угу. Это не то, да. Нет. Вот это, если... Да, я сейчас смотрю. Угу. Угу. Так, нет, это не то. Здесь должна быть... Ага. Через белое стекло? Окей. Хороший, да. Ага. Нет, это не то, это тоже не то. Угу. Это тоже не то. Да, можно выйти в кабинет босса и выйти обратно. Но... вот, концовка рай. Ясно. Это просто концовка рай, и из нее нету выхода. Я забыл, да. Ну, бывает. Начать игру сначала? И тогда мы закончим другой концовкой. Но, по крайней мере, мы попали в рай. Правда, рай для Стенли, который любит нажимать на кнопки, но все же рай. Что ж. Там новый эпизод Разума Фримена вышел? Ну, Гравий, ну блин.
And perhaps rain
No,
started, and
ладно.
if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Так, я так помню, нужно выйти через это белое стекло. Любое белое стекло. Ну, там вышла новая серия сериала, который мы смотрим. Разума Фримена. Так что давайте посторопимся. Ага. Надо вспомнить, как забраться наверх. Надо пройти по этим столам, потому что прыгать мы не можем. Как? Вот здесь мы приподнимаемся, но недостаточно высоко. Угу. Эти коробки, они нас приподнимают, но они слишком далеко от всего. Угу. Ой-ой. Вот этот стул кажется чуть пониже. Нет? Нет. Ха. Интересно. Да, а как выйти в окно, Нова? Привет. Как? Через копировальный автомат? Нет. Я могу ввести в игре SVChits1, но это ведет нас к другой концовке. Надо подумать. Я помню, что мы забираемся на этот стол и от него выходим сюда. Или на этот. Но сейчас... Нет, здесь shift не работает. Shift это был... Shift был в прошлой игре. В оригинале. А в ремастере как? Но я могу раз что присесть. Даже могу посмотреть управление. Угу. Да, мы можем только присесть. Или использовать. Так, посмотрю-ка я гайды. Как выйти на эту концовку? Угу. Так. Секреты концовки. Ага. Так, ага. 434. То есть вот здесь. Да. Keyframe. Здесь можно встать сюда. Мы можем пройти по компьютеру. И присев, мы можем пройти сюда. Теперь мы можем выйти в окно. Оп. Рассказчик.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
Да, уникально.
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Да, мне надоело. Да.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Больше, чем ты.
There once was a man named Stanley.
Однажды был человек по имени Стенли,
People considered so manly.
которого
But the
люди считали
truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly.
Я не умею
What Stanley
перевода
liked
песен.
most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
Ну, не настолько, как ты. Ну, чат, как у вас прошел день? Мы здесь, наверное, надолго. Рассказчик, у тебя пальцы там не устали играть? Ну, у нас... Да, знаю. Но все равно. У нас в городе уже ночь, 3 часа утра, почти 4 утра. А я сижу и жду, когда рассказчику надоест играть на его укулеле. Кажется, это укулеле. Ну, я не знаю. Да. Ага. Рассказчик. Надоело, да? Мы тут можем сидеть весь день и всю ночь. Да, рассказчик? Ну, да. Секунду. Угу. Где-то. Ага. Угу. Песня кончилась, да. Мы подождали конца песни и... Перезапуск. Ясно. Перезапускаем. И следующее мы нажимаем «Нет». Извини, рассказчик.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Да.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Естественно, потому что я сейчас выйду за стекло. Да, рассказчик.
At first,
Снова.
Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Nah.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
Я уже это сделал.
Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
No? Секунду. У меня игра как-то неправильно решила действия делать. Но мы выбрали нет. Проблема в том, что мы должны были выбрать нет. Но мы его и выбрали. И что теперь? Ну, видимо, уже ничего. Да, видимо, уже все. Ну что ж. Всем спасибо, кто смотрел это небольшое прохождение Stanley Parable. Скачать... да. У игры есть бесплатная демо-версия, которую я раньше уже прошел на канале. Я ее даже переводил. Да. И что ж, что могу сказать? Покупайте эту игру. Да, марафон коротких игр у нас на сегодня закончен. У меня телефон начинает бунтовать. Что ж, подписывайтесь на наши каналы. На канал Ponyhouse Gaming, ну или игровое сообщество понихолков, полуночников, да. Подписывайтесь на каналы Теслера, Гравия, Ками, Ангелы, Кота, на мой канал. Ставьте комментарии, оставляйте лайки, жмите на колокольчик и увидимся в следующей игре. Всем удачи и всем пока!